Hello. So um, this is going to be an introductory video to the Akai MPC One, not the new updated model of summer 23. This is one I bought in summer 22. But a lot of the stuff is the same. And this is really some of my early learning curve with the MPC One in terms of it's quite different to previous MPCs in a lot of ways. I upgraded in inverted commas from a MPC 2500, which I still use because of various things like the multiple media outs and a lot of my old music's on there, and it's basically the core of my whole studio. I bought the MPC One for the partly for the sampling and partly because of the MIDI CV outputs to connect to my modular and various other bits and bobs. Anyway, I'll turn it on. So it's booting up now. The biggest thing I'd say is one of the first things I did, and it was a right cock up, was I accidentally formatted or did something to internal drive. So all the stuff that the MPC comes with as standard, various programs and samples and everything else, I wiped, which is really intelligent of me, but there you go. Thankfully, most of this you can download with no major problems from the Akai website. I do say most of it. One of the biggest nightmares, and I will talk to this more in another video, is dealing with Akai website and plugins and licensing and stuff. It's a right pain in the ass, basically. And I've got a plugin I've paid for that I can't actually get to work because I can't get the license approved. But we'll talk about that in another video. Overall, I love the MPC One. It was a brilliant purchase. It's made me very productive in the last year. A lot of the concepts I was used to because of using MPCs since about 2000. And this is actually my third MPC. And I've still got all three of them. The MPC 2000 XL I don't actually use anymore, but I've kept it because why get rid of it? I don't need the money or anything. But also, it is a possibility that one day I might actually go and play live or something. It's a possibility. So anyway, one of the biggest things I did early on, and I think I got it from a forum, but I really can't remember because I started looking for a lot of online advice, and there's loads out there. And there's a lot of, as YouTube as always, there's a lot of dross, and there's a lot of things that are people just setting out to the arses, or they do the stuff that's in the manual. The thing to mention on the manual, it is not printed. It's online only. And you can download it and obviously print bits yourself. And I've actually printed certain bits until I've got them in my head. But it obviously means it's a bit harder to look into something. But the manual does not cover everything by every stretch of the imagination. It's a very deep machine, actually. I mean, I've been using it quite intensively for about a year now, and it's not. I've hardly touched it, I think. So the biggest thing I did once I reloaded everything was, and I'd highly recommend this to any user, is get an SD card on the front of the machine. On the video you can't quite see it, but it's at the it's in on the front panel of the machine, just about in front of where the biggest knob is. And buy the biggest one you can afford. You can take it. And I actually put all my what are the plugins? So that's the plugin synthesizers and other things that you can have. There's a lot of the effects and so on there, because what I've changed the settings so that my Akai boots from the SD card, not from the internal drive. And the main reason for that is the SD card is really easy to take to your computer, upload any changes, save them on the SD card, and then the and then MPC One just picks it up when you boot it up again with the SD card in. Don't ever take the SD card out while it's running though. It doesn't like that. It gets upset. So the thing to show you on that, so let's get out. Where are we? Oh, load an empty project. There we go. We don't need any music at this point. So and this is like this is the main screen. This is where you'll do a lot of your work. It's where I do most of my recording. I mostly play live into it with a Arturia key step using the USB in, or USB socket I should say, so that my MIDI in is actually because there's one MIDI in and one MIDI out as the regular 5-pin DIN sockets, and the MIDI in is connected to my main studio, so I could sync it all up, and the MIDI out, I forgot where that goes to now. It goes off somewhere anyway. Oh, it goes to a MIDI 3 unit and goes to about 3 different synthesizers, all connected to my modular, and then I use the as I said before, this MIDI CV outs go to my modular synth. And that's an AE modular. And I've done a video about the basic connections, and also made a patch bay just to make life easier. And there's videos, and they should be on this playlist, the AE modular playlist. And I will put the one about the MPC One programs and the MIDI CV one onto this, because this will be the start of an MPC One playlist. Okay, so to start a project, we just new project. Excuse me. It does take a while sometimes. So these are projects that have already started. A lot of these, what I do is I've found a group of sounds alike, and quite a lot of it's internal. There's some fantastic things even in the library that comes with the machine. But I've actually bought an awful lot of samples and a few more plugins and stuff recently. So I'm going to do an empty project because I don't need anything with any noise for what I'm going to show you today. And then we'll go to the home screen in browser. So this is where you find all your stuff. And if I go to expansions, so these expansions, these are samples. And you can see some of it, I don't know how well you can see, but this is the library that's included with the MPC. You get some noises as I flip through this. So this is all, these are all, okay, thank you. These are all drum kits saved in the machine. If you want to look at plugins that are saved in this in this area, or every file, so anything, and there's various other things. So I normally leave it on program, and then you see these other things I've either bought or downloaded. And Distance Pulse was quite a nice expansion, but that introduced me to the joys of dealing with the Akai after sales system, and I have to say it's shite. There's no other ways for it. I've avoided using it much since. Having said that, there was a summer sale in 2023, and I did buy whatever that, I can't remember what that one's called, and I can't quite read it with my glasses on. Hook City, and I did buy Las Vegas expansion as well. The other ones, some of them were free, some of them were pre-samples. Vegas Festival was another one I bought in the sale, in the 23 sale, and I have managed to work out to get them on. As you can tell, these ones where there's A, H, and O, they're expansions that haven't worked properly for whatever reason, but I can actually still get at the samples, so it doesn't, I'm not kind of excited. And these are all saved. If you see at the top here, it says MPC One SD, so that's my SD card, and there's a folder called Expansions. So that's the key thing here. So if we go all the way out to, so this is my SD card. So completed songs, or save data I've finished. With expansions, effects racks, which I'm not sure it's even using to be honest, and synths. And synths has actually got a lot of the effects in as well. So if I go into synths, you can see straight off the bat, there's all the air, music technology things, and somewhere down here, oh, you see here's some of the ones I've got. Some of these do not work because I haven't paid for the license, or I've not made a good job of it. I think like Fabric's got about 200 quid, and I can't pay 200 quid when I only pay 500 quid for the old bloody thing. So it's £200 roughly for the Fabric group of things. But why they've done another electric piano when it comes with an electric piano, the stage EP, stage piano, that's included and they work. I can't remember if the studio strings work. The tube synth is bloody brilliant. And hybrid, I think, doesn't work. Anyway, but that's going into the synths folder. And that's not normally how you'd load the synths. So normally to use the synths, what you do is you've got on your main sequence screen, you've got drum programs, plugins, and you can see it's gone straight to tube synth. You've got key group programs, so that's, rather than being drums, it's a chromatic one, for playing keys or bass or whatever. So that's the main difference between. So that's a drum program, that's a key program. That's clips, which I have to say I can tell you nothing about whatsoever because I don't do that. I might learn how to do it one day. But there's MIDI, so that's obviously for powering stuff outside the machine. And you've got USB and regular MIDI out of the 5-pin DIN. And then the fun one, which, like I said, I've done a separate video for, is the CV outs, and that's actually, I'm really pleased how versatile that is, and it's been really good. It's that and the sampling are really what I bought the machine for, and they've both been fantastic. I will do a video on sampling and sample editing at some point. But like I say, they're the two things I bought the machine for, and they've just been fantastic. And I'm sorry, just nipping back to that. Sorry, nipping back to plugins. So when you're on the plugins, and you can see it's defaulted to tube synth, but that's that list, and that's the same list as I just showed you on the actually in the drive on my SD card. But what annoyingly it doesn't tell you is which ones work and which ones don't, because I haven't paid for the license. I happen to know I can't use anything of the fabrics. I think Hype doesn't work. The Mellotron I use all the time. I love the Mellotron. The Odyssey is really good. I haven't got OPX4. That's an FM synthesizer. The Celine is very good. The stage piano is very good. I'm fairly sure the studio strings doesn't work. I can't remember how the stage piano. The tube synth I use all the time. I've done a lot of songs just with the MPC One. Nothing else at all. It's just been brilliant. So I'll just pick one. So I'm going to pick the bass line. Yeah, so the bass line's there now. You might not be able to hear that. Let me change it to a different sign. I'm not sure you'll be picking that up, but so that's a very specific bassline synth, and you can go in and edit those, but that's not the point of this video today. It's just really the big thing today was about understanding that on your expansions or in your expansion folders in either your internal drive, if you don't change it, that's where it defaults to, or your SD card. You can also do it to your external drive as well. I actually also have an external drive on this. So I go to places, you can see on the left hand side here I've got the internal drive, and that's actually pretty empty. I try to do as little as possible on there, to leave it free basically. My MPC external, so this is it was a 1 terabyte, if I can get to it. Oh, work you bugger. So it just takes it's gone to sleep because I haven't used it for a while, so I just realised what happened. So this is everything that's on my external drive, and all the samples I've ever had, and lots of my old music, and all sorts of stuff is on here. There's pages and pages on it, because there's, like, if you go, I've also got backups of the expansions and the synths, so they're on here as well. But I don't have this set as the default because this is a bit more of a pain to take to the computer and update. So, but I did do that for a while before I cottoned on about the SD card. So current projects, that's songs I'm working on. Dog drums are some samples I just bought off Bandcamp. Expansions, so there's the expansions folder again. So again, that's where all the synths are. Sorry, not synths. All the you can see some of the synthesizers, but there's distance pulse what I bought, and I think that's how that got transferred into the MPC, because this is when part of the joys of the learning curve. But like I say, really on here they're just on the external drive for backup. So there's loads and loads of drums here. See drums, etc. Let's click on that just to see. So I'll make it onto it's on all samples at the moment, so I'll just put it onto kits. So this is now showing you just the kits and the folders. So you see these are all from Mars. So this is I've forgotten. I think they're called samples from Mars. I think they're American. I've got quite a lot of their stuff I've been gradually buying over the years. Strange enough, lots of 808s and 909 kits. And I'm not quite sure why we're not making a noise at the moment, but it should make a noise when you go over one of the not a folder, but when you go over an actual one that says a kit, it ends in XPM and has got the little dot. It should make a noise. I'm not sure why we're not, but there we go. So let's just load the drum emulator just for the hell of it. And then when you go to the main screen, so I'm plugging, there we go. Drum emulator one. And I'm not joking. If I haven't got 1,000 drum kits, I've got more. And if I wanted more drums or anything else, I've got loads of stuff. And then somewhere in here, if I go back out to drums, so we're still on my external drive here. I save all my current projects on here because I think I've got about 20 projects as I've started, because quite a lot of the time what I do is I just I just group sounds together. I get a group of sounds together. I've got something interesting, like I found a nice bass line, or I've got a good groove going, or I've got a chord sequence I like. I'll find some other sounds to put with it and just save it as a song to do another time. Excuse me. So guitars. So it's not doing that, you see, because there's no programs. The reason it looks blank and it says there's no items is because there's no programs, but there are the samples. So this is just one folder with some loops in that are already at 80 BPM. So it's going to go on for hours now, probably. So like I say, I've just got loads and loads of Portuguese guitar chops. That was something else I just bought off Bandcamp. You see, some of it comes as programs. So if I put it onto program, there we go. So there's PGM1, and this will take a while because I think it loads lots of samples. So just to recap, definitely worth getting an SD card. I got a 1 terabyte external drive first, and I have got in the region of 750 megabytes samples. That drive is not far off full, so I keep very little of that on. Well, the internal drive isn't that big. I know it's bigger on the new MPC One, but it's not. I've got an old MPC One, and it's not as big a drive, and you don't want the internal drive to get full. Basically stops the thing from working properly, and you can't record audio and things like that. So then that was a bit of a pain in the bum to take to and from the computer. The SD card, because I've got an SD card reader on the computer, was a lot easier, and it's obviously a lot easier to carry an SD card around, and it's less fragile and stuff. So that's it for a basic overview. I've run through the programs. I've talked about the storage, and at this stage I think that's it. If you've got any questions, do feel free to ask in the comments, and if there's anything useful I can do that in the next video. My plan for the next video is I will go through some of the plugins and using them in a sequence. That's my plan for the next one. Thank you.